We don't need to be politically correct at the moment, right?
No,
Yeah.
we don't have to be.
Not yet, no?
No, not yet.
No,
Not
no,
yet.
no.
Bhai, please Siddharth, let us know. Just like when you hit the record button.
It's
See,
just recording right now.
it's always recording, but because designers these days that we should do more of, like like when you look at that, you go like, yes, more of this, please.
You do realize that this could turn into a very different conversation, right?
I'm risking it. Yes, let's try that.
More of this. Let's stop there.
Yeah. I think it's just like the common answer is just that we need to share more,
Yes.
right? And we've been saying that for like a few years now, right? But I think beyond sharing more, it's about developing some formats of sharing, right? So far, I feel like there have been two formats: the dribble post and the medium case study,
Right.
And the best people, like the people who manage to grow really fast, manage to find the people to follow on dribble, manage to find the right case studies to read, and then that's about it. And then maybe they help other people find it as well. But like the surface area sort of ends there. Like these are the two main things. Versus this, for example, the thing we're doing right now is a new format, which probably has been done at some level somewhere else for different thing, maybe not design. But it sort of increases the surface area of what is out there. Because what is out there is in our brains, firstly, but it's also within the organizations that we are a part of.
Mhm.
So by creating these new formats, we're putting it out there and increasing the surface area of discovery in a sense. And of course, there is vested interest in that, right? In the sense that if you do it as a designer at a company, you're basically evangelizing for your company. You're saying that if my understanding is this good, it's because of the problems I've been able to work on. It's because of the people I've been able to work with.
Mhm.
And no matter what your goal is, it's a win-win situation for all parties. So I think that's really important, increasing that surface area of conversations around design.
Makes sense. Anyone wants to add to that?
I actually think that not just the formats, the type of questions that we have should have more nuances than just the regular questions. Nuances like, hey, I'm not able to solve this problem is one nuance. The other nuance is, I am getting stuck in this particular area. Or because we're mostly self-taught designers, I'm completely self-taught designers, and we do not know what we are not, navigating, and we don't know what we don't know. So is there a way or a thing to help us? Like, even if we just share this out in the open, it will help somebody because they are going through the same questions within themselves. And even if you just bring them into the forefront, right, it's in the back of your head or your tip of your tongue, and you just want to get it out there, hear a perspective, and it'll immediately clear. It'll work on its own. And the nuances need to be answered more deeply. That is something that I would like to focus on, and I think I've already started that, but I would like to take it forward. Yeah.
Right. A slightly different question. What as a community we do not do, right, that we should start doing?
I think similar answer. We do not talk about our work enough. In the sense that there's still like maybe like a handful of designers who actually put out anything useful. Right? Of course, there's a lot of people with Dribble and Behance profiles, but there's still a handful of designers who put out stuff that helps other people. So I don't think we have that. I don't think enough people have that mindset of let's put out stuff for value. Let's create value for other people. Right. So like, because the reason I also feel this is because as a junior designer, you want to think about how do I create value for myself. As a senior designer, you want to create value for other people, but you're so busy doing that for your own organization, you might not have the time to actually do it externally, which is fair point, right? But I think that is changing. So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah.
Hardik was saying something.
No, I think creating value is very, very, very true. basically, I think we need to talk more, right? And I would love for there to be like a low effort way to talk about show and tell your work, right? I think if a well detailed case study is the only way to showcase your work, I think there are better formats that we have not explored.
Mhm.
And maybe putting out videos of you talking through like a case study for 10 minutes sounds like a faster way of doing it, and a more personal way of doing it than just having to sit down and write and collect screenshots, right? So I think I would love for more people to be just doing video portfolios where they are talking through their work, showing like a sketch file and going from artboard to artboard and explaining like a thought process for like 10 minutes straight, right? And then next episode, next project, whatever, right? And this to be like a really good way of also demonstrating thinking, right? For example, like it's all fidelity, right? Like you lose a lot of fidelity as soon as you start writing, like, hey, should I write this? Do I feel comfortable about like mentioning this particular point? Maybe while talking, the barrier to sharing is lower, right? Like you just talk as if you would talk to a person. And more critique. I think this is something that generally the design industry as a whole is struggling with. And a few people who actually critique really well are basically shown the door, unfortunately. So I think we're a bit far from that. I don't expect critique to be mainstream anytime soon, but sharing for sure. Yeah.
Makes sense. And that brings us to the last question for the night, which is, what is it that we do, but we should stop doing as a community? Madhuri is impressed with the question. I'm sure. What should we stop doing? Okay, I'll start. I think I should put my head on the chopping block first, right? One of the things we should definitely stop doing, which I see a lot of happening, especially lately, is gatekeeping, right? Claiming that if you don't do X, then you're not a designer. Like, I think it's just unnecessary distraction. There are n number of designers, parts of design we don't understand completely. Design is done in ways, very different, variety of different ways. I mean, that one of the things that design taught me was there's no single solution, there's no single problem, there's no same human being. So there can't be same solution, same method, same design process, same designer. And there's a new trend starting on Twitter where people go like XYZ, and it shows. And that just sounds like complete gatekeeping, right? Like you want to say that, like I have a million follower and I will tell you who designers are. Like that just sucks. I think less of gatekeeping is required. Like while we are becoming more vocal, it is important to be inviting and not scare off people who just are getting in. And because we understand that we have all gone through imposter syndrome and self-doubt a lot in a journey as a designer, the least we can do is help those young folks out and make it easier for them.
Mhm.
For sure.
And I think we're really idealistic too often nowadays, right? Like, and we project that everywhere. Like, and when you look back at like some of these things we've projected, you're wondering why were we so stuck up about this? So I think that's something designers need to let go of. I've noticed that a lot of us were very idealistic about the wrong things. Like we weren't necessarily informed, but we're idealistic anyway. And that's how we've progressed, right? As junior designers, we were all about vanity. We were all about showcase. Now it's more about value and storytelling. And that same thing applies to like this whole, that's what we're seeing on Twitter all the time. Is when you say XYZ is this, that's idealism, which is not necessarily founded. So this is what as a community we should also. I mean, I don't know if there's an action to it, but then I think we should all just be open to more change. I guess like internally and like externally, we have actuated enough change, and that's happened because other people were open to inviting that change, right? Like as design as a fraternity has been able to do that because other people let us do this. Like they let us show and tell. So we should like give that room to ourselves as well, right? So I think that's one thing which is bothering me over the last few weeks. I don't know how to articulate. I still don't know if I am able to articulate this.
I can add the actionable the action to it, right? The action to it could be let's dial down the virtue signaling and basically snark, right? None of those two actually help anyone, and there's a very big chance that the person on the other end could take it very differently. That's it.
Yes.
So like just there's no point like imparting your virtues onto anyone. Nobody's out there trying to like. I don't go to Twitter to learn how I can fine tune my virtues. I go there to have fun, basically. So keep it fun, keep it lightweight, keep it self-deprecating, right? Like let's not let the humor die from the community, I would say, because otherwise it becomes a very sad community, and we've seen many communities die because of this.
Right. For sure. Awesome. I think that brings us to a very interesting closure. And I mean, we also have to fix our titles, but probably that's a whole roundtable for another day. We suck at titles and definitions for our own skill sets and designers.
Can I just thank everyone how quickly we were able to pull this together?
Yeah. Thank you all for seriously overnight invitations and thank you, Hardik, for making it happen. To be very honest, if you were not after me, probably I would have never gotten to it.
Yeah, this is Hardik's idea from Design Up, I guess, right? It's been 6 months.
Let's do a roundtable.
I think it started with the roast. The idea was to roast first, then it became a roundtable because we're civil like that. So
I think the Sena head in Siddharth basically
prevented.
It prevented us from doing that, which was probably a good idea. Of not doing it was a good idea, yes.
Yeah, because we like our jobs and HR is a problem suddenly.
PR is also a problem.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about that.
Abhinav, you can add a hot take. Abhinav and Madhuri can add a hot take, definitely. Some things we can't say, you can for sure say.
No, man, I'm all. I don't have any hot takes remaining. You gotta visit me in the morning when they're fresh.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining on such a short notice. This was a lot of fun. And I can already imagine all the questions and, kind of interactions we all keep having, from Instagram DM to on Twitter. There's going to be a lot of value and insight for people in the industry, already designers and people, coming in to know what to expect and what industry is going through. And I'm super sad that we did not get to have an Arnab Goswami moment where I could scream at, Hardik, speak it, Hardik. Why are you saying it, Hardik? Hardik, say it. But maybe next time I can have a Arnab Goswami moment.
I think roughly we agreed with each other. We need clear questions where there are some disagreements.
We're too peaceful and calm.
So let's keep that in mind.
Maybe for the next time.
Yeah. We are following our own advice, keeping it fun, keeping it light, and keeping it without sans snark. And thank you so much for joining in, folks, and have a good night.